And we back. What's up? What's up? Another day. More outlining. More developing. Book 2 of Indigenous Magic with my friend The Anatomy of Story, written by John Truby. Um, Hell of a shitty day outside DC. It is rainy, gross. Still not. I guess it's warming up a little bit, but nothing special. Nothing special. But yeah. Thought I was gonna kind of this 4 o'clock slot snuck up on me. I was trying to work on exporting my VODs. That way, anyone who else wants to see how I write a book production, book outlining, I want to be able to help anyone who's curious and who wants to start. So yeah, I figure you guys are writers. Anyone watching this is a writer, so y'all can appreciate working on watching other people and seeing how other people do it. So have at it. All right, so far we are in building the story world of the sequel to Indigenous Magics. The first one's about the return of Mayan magic. This is going to be the return of Incan magic with the same Indiana Jones type character traveling the world, helping navigate booby traps and find relics, back all that jazz. So we are at land people and one thing I want to do is get my the first book in series up so I can see what I wrote for the guy. It's actually coming out June 1st. I got the book covers back today. Talked to my book cover designer. Sorry, I got them back 2 days ago. Talked to my book cover designer today. Should be everything is coming along well to get going in June. Story set in the present, fall 2022, with modern transportation methods, technology. Although not everyone can afford pandemic never happened. That's a big one. I wonder how many books are gonna or books and movies are gonna just pretend the pandemic wasn't a thing. Like, oh, 2023, everything's been great. We shared a metro. We packed onto the bus. Then on the flip side, you have China where they literally shut down Shanghai. What, 26 million people locked down for indefinitely because they're trying to go zero COVID. Woo-wee. I'm not getting political or anything. I'm just saying that is a lot of people to lock down. That never happened. Takes place in South American cities of decreasing size, introducing no greater connection to nature, and a reduction in overall wealth and access to tech. And an increase number of people living in poverty. Less. All right. So I'm actually going on a trip to Machu Picchu. I'll be able to kind of get a feel for this. This is why I want to go because I want to be able to get a feel for what the difference between, because I've been to Mexico, but I want to feel like I'm in DC now, and then I try out see how Lima is, and see how Cusco is, and then Machu Picchu is outside of Cusco. So like think like the Houston of Peru, right? And then travel by train 4 hours by train Machu Picchu. Increase in number of this. Um. Oh, one thing. There's a quick anecdote that my dad said. My dad's actually from El Salvador. He was a farmer. Grew up as a farmer. Didn't have his first pair of shoes till he was 11. My grandmother was actually illiterate, so like 2 generations ago, didn't go to school past second grade. So pretty cool that I'm sitting here writing books. But anyways, he had said something to the effect of like, I don't know why city people look down on towns when city people want an orange. Want orange, they have to go buy it. We just walk back and pluck it from the tree. They look down on us. Look. President said a pained look. Wrinkling his wrinkling. Head. I am swear I'm gonna get used to this PC keyboard if it's the last thing. Oh, well, the town on us, the resident said. A pained look of confusion wrinkling his forehead. When city people want an orange, they have to go to buy it. They have to go buy it. We just walk out back and pluck it from the tree. So when I'm writing the outline, I just kind of sprinkle in little things I want to include, dialogue or scenes, and then hopefully I remember when I'm going to write it. Because I'll be honest with you, I look back at the outline, but I don't look back at this part. This is kind of like what I would consider in the week. You'll see as if you follow along as I go. These steps all come to building this 22 steps. This is like this 22 steps are this is like the meat and potatoes. So hopefully when I'm writing, they're formatting. Watch, everything's gonna be but yeah, so hopefully I'll remember that I want to include something like along these lines when I go to write. Bang out. I'll look to bang out about 2,000 words a day, 3 to 5 days a week. Now, this is the first time I'm going to be writing on stream, so I'm down to hang out with y'all, down to chat. Just we'll see how many words I actually get in. I might have to start. Like I see a lot of other writers on streams do like writing sprints, and so it'll be like, all right, I'm not talking for 10 minutes or something like that. So I don't want to necessarily have to do that, but if I'm not getting any words in, I have to. Learn about ancient societies and relics that survived the Spanish conquest and witness the effects of South American countries. And yeah, okay, so that's like more category technology. Magically exist in ancient relics, but can come back for everyone, long as they're indigenous and part of the culture that brought. The one thing we can add a note here. So all these, everything I think, like, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, that, oh yeah, this. I'll just make like a quick note and then I'll read through them, getting ready to write it. Then I'll either read it or I'll just keep it in mind. Potential. This story could what happens or what might happen if one doesn't participate indigenous culture gets access to the magic. Think, anyone who has seen Black Panther out there, think Killmonger in Black. So in Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan's character comes in, and he is relatively furious because Wakanda doesn't help um, broader black population. So this is almost like, and he, because he grew up in what, I think I think he grew up in like L.A. or something, but it's almost like, oh, what happens when having someone who doesn't participate, someone who doesn't grow up in that culture gets access to what that particular. Let's see here. What are you talking about? Okay, magical existence. Final battle takes place in my. People are magic versus not magic as one. That's one of conflict. Indigenous versus non-indigenous, and American versus South Americans slash. Yeah, I mean that works. Um. So, the book system. If your hero lives and works in a system, explain the rules and hierarchy of power, along with your hero's place in that hierarchy. The larger system is enslaving your hero. Explain why he is unable to see his own enslavement. So, this is where we'll kind of take a look at neo-racism between light-skinned, taller, I'll say Latin Americans, and those with more indigenous. And additionally, examine fraction in people from the city, those more essential, of course. So we can kind of, I don't know if this is necessarily like an obvious thing or it's something I'm just aware of because I grew up with my dad's El Salvador, white American, but especially this, like the city versus the provincial, like there's a very real uh look down on people from towns, from rural areas. That's why my dad said something along those lines. When city people want an orange, they have to go buy it. We just walk up back and pluck it from a tree. He doesn't understand why city people look down on, and he was from like, they don't understand why that he doesn't understand why that occurs, and it is a thing. And it's like it shows up in how people talk, it shows up in dress, all that stuff. And really it just all comes down to money versus not money. That's like the big thing. Another system. I mean, we can really, so the first book highlighted how how like there's a sizable Mayan population outside of Merida, Mexico. Now, even if they learn Maya, and like even if someone learns Maya as their first language, all the schooling is in Spanish. So kind of you're inherently at an advantage if you grow up not speaking. So that's kind of, I did mention some of that stuff because in the first book, Jesus' brother is really good at languages. So kind of, I not mentioned, I mean, I talked about, I think, but um, how there's like a source of like a problem area for Jesus because he only speaks Mayan and Spanish, whereas brother Hugh can speak English, he knows French, he's very good at language. Jesus is at his near of the hierarchy because proximity American French segregation. I think status separation, I think. Outside. Outside of the entrenchment. Stay in Peru. What else is there? I mean, we could always say the law. Jesus and different. Law. So he can use. So Ferdinand can use his money. Doesn't gets in trouble with. But Jesus. Reader. Effect. Anything else? Oh, so there is within the magic system. That's another system. Jesus is leader and a king. Already brought back Mayan magic. So he's seen as expert. So he's at the top of the. He's at the top. Top. Hernan Rivera. American. Doesn't. None shows up throughout this. All the systems. Also, maybe mention Casca. I'm gonna say something along the lines of like he's trying to reform. Casca pretty much. One girl wants indigenous Peruvians slash Incan to almost like take over. Like she thinks that they make so much money on tourism to Machu Picchu, and then there's all these kind of indigenous native products and attractions. They should actually be the primary power in on the town, whereas like instead they're shafted on. Shafted. Let's see. That works. Natural settings. Area around Machu Picchu. Build. Harsh terrain. Animals. Instead of, so in the first book, yeah, I don't know if anyone's been to Chichen Itza, but at Chichen Itza, Chichen Itza is actually the town, the ancient Mayan city. So what we think of as the pyramid at Chichen Itza, that is really just the temple of Kukulkan. And so around the temple and around the Great Ball Court, other areas of Chichen Itza, there is a lot of kind of manicured lawns, just grass, and they keep it really short so you can walk around. There was a different timeline. If you could see you're bringing your dog there, right, and just having a great time. Like that, it's a World Heritage. But I don't know if the area around Machu Picchu is the same terrain. Look this up around Machu. Kind of greenery will that I'll oh okay, that's cool. But see, it's like somebody's cutting all this grass, right? Like this stuff would grow wildly. Almost like, see how the shrubbery back here is. I feel like if it's getting here without knowing it was here would be quite an ordeal. Hey, how in the hell did they build this? Look, these people are tiny. I mean, this place must be massive. Chichen Itza is actually a lot smaller than this. Well, not really. Okay, rephrase. There's less structures at Chichen than I see, in which, knowing what happened, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of Chichen Itza stones in local churches. I know that a lot of the Catholic missionaries hired the Mayan build this to carry the stones to the churches. So there might have been more structures where smaller structures where people could have lived, could have worked, stored grains, whatever. But they were all a lot of them were dismantled, and even part of the big pyramid, Chichen Itza, or I'm sorry, the Temple of Kukulkan, they dismantled part of it, and then they had to the Preservation Society. I don't know who, but they pretty much found some of the stones around the area and then put back the ones that they knew were from there, from like, I guess, testing purposes. They could tell which ones were from there. And then there are a couple missing stones from one of the faces of the Temple of Kukulkan. So yeah, see, it's like here. Uh, on Mac, you just touch your pad. So Maria, heartstring, animals, and greenery. We have to include food, animal revered by ancient Indians. Alpacas. Yeah, Inca's the plural, I guess, like alpacas, condors, snakes, panther. Ideally, we're seeing at least some of them. I already know when I'm going to include a condor in the story. So it's just hopefully I can find some other alpacas, snakes, and panthers. And oh no, I already have panther in there too. Really, the alpacas I'm very curious about because it's one of those things that I might have to wait until I go to Peru and see how many alpacas there, like how common alpacas are in the first. So, what other setting? So in the book, the outline book, it's like consider if any of the major natural settings: ocean, outer space, forest, jungle, desert, ice, island, mountain, plain, or river. So there's definitely mountains and jungle. And so kind of the way that we think about those is mountains have their own thing that you're associating with the mountain. So let me look that up real quick. I mean, I could probably come up with a reason because this gen already done. Mountain, mountain, all land of greatness. Machu is top of a mountain, creating more pressure for the final battle. So you always want to have your final battle be in like the most kind of cramped place in story. And so a lot of times you like they have to descend into a house or trying to think. Oh, think like okay, the first Harry Potter when he goes through the trap door, um, of which that's a lot. Even just thinking about it now, J.K. Rowling had like the whole like all these tests, and then all this shit was supposed to be in the middle of Hogwarts, unknown to anyone else, I guess. But anyways, if you think about it, the Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron went underneath um the three-headed dog, and then they got the key. They had to catch it with the broom, and then they had to do chess, and then they get through, and then at the very end, the kind of like after descending into hell, at the very end of it, he met Voldemort, which is almost like the devil. And so that's kind of the power that that concept has is you really want to condense it really really tightly. And so this almost inverts that because the mountain, while you're completely open and you see the rest of the world, you see the air, uh, you also have nowhere to go, right? Like you can see another mountaintop in the distance, but can't get there. It's going to take you a day, 2 days, maybe. I'm not too familiar with mountains, but it takes a long time. So, um, so normally the mountain is an area of discovery, but this is going to be an area of condensing. And then the jungle has its own jam as well. Jungle is associated with suffocation, everything grabbing you. We see this again and a walking market, vendors, say goods stalls approaching, walking, healing, middle of the We can even relate people in market. The sources from example animal. Right. Um. Okay. And they're actually on another mountain. The character. Other mountain. And they're searching blue the relics. Background music. It's okay. Are there any other natural settings I need to? What did I write in the first? Let's check what I wrote in the first one. Jungle pulling back to their roots. Okay, we could say that. Jungle is pulling Incans. Inca back to that. Weather. How often it rains in. Because if it doesn't rain often, we could say it's like a really weird, unique thing that it's raining in the first place. Often does it rain? Not too. Greatest amount of rainfall occurs between November and March. Rainy season. Rain can also be expected during some days in the dry season. March when the rain falls for 13 days. Okay, so it rains for like 13 days in March. That seems like about what we have, and doesn't seem to. I'm very curious. How do they? I wonder how they maintain um the stone structures in all that rain. And then do they have to worry about acid rain? Very curious about the conservation effort. The place is just massive, though. All right. Weather. Um, we can even say that it's unseasonal. We can make. I mean, it would. It will. No, hold on. Shoot. In November and March. Oh, so we can say, rain. Final battle. Not choose two. Character. Uncharacteristic rain during the final battle at Machu Picchu. Rainy start for another month. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, so I don't really love it, but I think it fits. Kind of cliches happen for. I'm gonna throw them in there. I just don't want to go crazy with them, but you know, every so often have something that's like not random. Nighttime. Have mountain. Facing temperature or cold temperatures. I actually don't know the temperature and cool through, let's say, September. Damn, kind of cold. 58 degrees. September. Doesn't get above 60. The record is 72. I mean 68 now. Summer. 58. Yeah, even looking at this climate chart, average temperatures in 1991 and 2020 month, max in Fahrenheit 69, 68, 69, 70, 70, 60. I mean, that is very consistent. Minimum 30s and 40s, highs of 70. Okay, so it's cold. I have to look into. I'm gonna have to do some research into how the Incans survived Machu Picchu because that seems kind of cold. Wonder if there's like they relied on. Wonder if they really rely on like alpaca wool, or um, they just stay inside. Because it seems like that. It seems to me like that must be tough to even have crops. Yeah, the average annual warmest month. Okay, on average, the warmest month is October at 69 degrees. The coolest month is January at 65 degrees. That's definitely going facing colder than expected temperatures, especially for Jesus, who's from Mexico. Let's weather. And look through, roll up, look through our outline, see if weather is going to play a part anywhere. Museum, catacombs, caves, mountain caves. Really, there's much weather. Yeah, there's really not much weather involved. All right, let's see what I included on the first. Yeah, that's about good. All right, pieces. Markets. The catacombs in Peru. In Lima. What we could do. In there. We can say crafted catacombs with their using magic or survived. Actually, look up more because I need to was they so for some reason Bing puts the results from Encyclopedia Britannica above the Wikipedia article. Like, who is looking at Encyclopedia Britannica when they look at Wikipedia? Let's see. There was pre-Columbian territory. See. Although the history of the city of Lima began with the Spanish foundation in 1505, territory formed by the valleys of the three rivers was occupied by pre-Inca settlements, which were grouped under the Maranga culture and the Lima that established in territories. During those times, the sanctuaries of Lati and Pachacamac so we can even say something like that. I found the play for the fail. J-U-A Auha. So we can say and kind of add to the crafted the guide from Spanish main dead king surrounding mountain and jungle. Okay, we can make up a little story about that. Kind of like some magical history. Say that the Indians are sort of was like an earthbender from Avatar. But they were able to create these catacombs on a Spanish city. So if anyone's seen, take a note myself. Think Emperor Palpatine. So I figure you guys have all heard of Star Wars. Well, at the main, I don't know a shit ton about. Let me start by that, but I've read some of the books, and I do know that Emperor Palpatine, even before he's emperor, has a hidden layer underneath main spire where he lives. It had been built a long time ago, and that's where he goes to meditate. And he actually reaches out to the Chiss ascendancy, or he senses the Chiss like what's going on with the Chiss ascendancy from his like little chamber beneath the tower. I think for Palpatine. For right, so another man-made space is Machu Picchu, though it's uninhabited. Up, create a history about how Spanish conquerors never city on a mountain thought it by I think sycophant. I'm looking. Yeah. Speaking of sycophants, Jamie Raskin called Martin on the House of Representatives like yesterday. The Inca sycophant. So I'll have to think of a way. So in the first book, Jaguar Balam, which is actually word for jaguar in Mayan, he has been around for centuries. He's a shadow jaguar, comes from the shadow realm. But he explains the whole magic bit and all the history to Jesus about the Mayans. And his in the first book, Frida. So we're gonna have to think of I'm gonna have to think of a guide that will be tell Jesus and all the characters about what happened. The antique. Probably need to create a good name, but last piece of prophecy tells about the creation catacomb and about how Machu. So like towards the end of the book, we're gonna find out like the whole time they'll kind of be fumbling around. It'll be a treasure hunt, and they'll be working hard to get ink and magic back through the relics, and he'll be able to tell them all, and towards the end, what really happened or how everything came to be. And I think I decided that I'm gonna make him uh, I think it was like a descendant of Zara's or something. I have notes. All right, let's back down. Man-made space. Oh, the markets serve the same effect. Jungle. Stuffy. Grabbing. Dust. What are their main? That's a quick one. You can say something about the mountain site where they test with. Say two more. Mountain. Not really a fortress, but it's a hidden mountain. An enclave. Enclave. Mountain. Chambers, I guess. Their relics. Where they guarded by mysteriously. And I hate. Um. Was. Oh, right. Where local gang. Where local street gang. Side of Incan relic. Gang. Slash. Ancient. Miniatures. Um. Okay, so this is almost like miniatures is where you come up with something that represents something else. So, for example, the obvious one, like Honey I Shrunk the Kids, and so they become miniatures. They can go. They have a whole another kind of adventures. And really, it's like the miniatures. I think of this much more like metaphor. Then the first one, oh yep, Balam makes a miniature shadow form of the other books. He Balam makes a shadow, kind of a shadow. Chichen Itza explains what happened with the priest guarding the magic. There's, I don't really know if there's any other person. Almost call Fernand miniature of the Spanish. There. Oh, right. So at The Shining, he's looking down on the labyrinth. Is there anywhere we could look? Um, his height on a mountain or being above a city that he can look down, and then that could serve as a good miniature. Even something as lights when they're these I can really thought about. Or it won't be in big it won't be in this story. Oh, so becoming big or small. That's what I meant where it was like Honey I Shrunk the Kids. Alice in Wonderland and in King Kong. Okay. Gulliver's Travels, The Borrowers. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna like he's not gonna be they're not gonna get small. Passage phase. Oh yeah, so this is going to be um beneath beneath catacomb, unassuming entrance, wide, untouched. Think, die again. It's actually, if you think about it, it's like diagonally. Then she just wrote Diagon. That went out when I was older. Appreciate it. And then there is a passage. Okay, we can do this too. On the way to mountain pass, must find the entrance. Think. What is the spider in Lord of the Rings? Shelob? Shelob. Shelob. Oh god, that was a terrible scene. Sorry, I'm gonna show you. I don't like spiders. Oh, oh I remember. I think that's actually a real spider. Oh god. Shelob, Frodo, and Sam finding Shelob. Shelob. What's hideout lair? I guess. Yeah. Beneath the Lima, walk to the catacombs. Unassuming entrance. Wide open. Yes. Maybe, maybe through a fountain. Is there a fountain? But I think it's a famous one. That could work. I'll have to look into. I'll have to do some more research about type of what type of areas or like type of things are in Lima. I haven't been. Let's see passage that we can really highlight and expand upon. Um, look at the, can I see it now? Like Abilio, Jesus' cousin. like saying, hungry, his. You just stop and say, need to eat. I mean, escaping the prison. Say escaping the prison. Courtesy, passage discovered, passageway discovered by Balam as a house cat. That could work. Even say escaping the. Um, being up subway. A metro. Underground. Oh, the largest bridge in Latin America is Metro. The elevated viaduct of the Metro Railway was the longest in the world until it was surpassed by the Wuhan Metro line. I know where Wuhan. Oh, there are some. Apparently, it's a problem because it's a big seismic. A lot of um. For yeah, something. Technology. Right along here. So this is pretty straightforward. Um. Oh, then we have lights. Lima. Go talk about good area. So maybe light particular about Fernand. What? Right, beef. Okay, so right now Fernand's the kind of the bad guy, and he wants control of ancient relics, believing he can become a god among them. But why does he want? Always like failure. Feels like he doesn't belong. White America, indigenous, Hispanic, something like that. Um, he wants to control, wants bullies pay for ignoring him. Revenge, pretend for breaking up. So I kind of think of sometimes I'll go through and seed sprout. I made this up actually. You guys are the first people ever hear about. So you're welcome. So the seed sprout in trees. So where the seed of his feelings of being ignored and feelings of inadequacy is, he was bullied as a child. Fernand Rivera. Feelings of inadequacy. Because was bullied as a child for his lack of English. All right, so that's kind of where the very first tendrils show up. And that, like, so for example, I came up with this because of Shang-Chi. So in Shang-Chi, we see he kind of kicks off the whole thing, the whole story kicks off when he wants to try and go save his sister, right? Well, the reason he wants to save his sister because he um couldn't protect his family. So in the very seed of his desire that kicks off the story happened way back when, is when he couldn't protect his mother from being attacked. A sprout was when he couldn't protect his sister. He ran away without her, so he couldn't take her with him. So first he feels guilty for not protecting his mother, then he feels guilty for not taking his sister with him. And so when he sees the opportunity to protect his sister, who is now old enough to be the same age as his mother was, then he immediately takes action and buys a ticket and heads to, I think it was Macau, where where she had her fight. So his seed, his feelings of inadequacy because he split a child for his lack of English. Grew up speaking Spanish in the home. It sprouts. He's girlfriend breaks up with him because why? Because doesn't have money. But like then that kind of goes. You already have like pays for everything. has money. I mean, but having money for an American, Mexican. Even so, that kind of feels like a. He's bullied because then what we could do. Girlfriend breaks up with him because Catholic, rediscovering her indigenous. Maybe doesn't necessarily even have to be Latin American. Could be Native American, Inuit, and everything comes to fruition when he realizes um three that kind of problems also. That's a little too on the nose. Needs to be. Why wouldn't he be? He's not baptized. Catholic Church. Therefore, can't get married. In life can confirm version. Confirm isn't enough for. Broke it off before it got too. For the relationship got free. Here's that grandfather. So we know not. So we know he's not English, Spanish, and Ferdinand find out. Uh, Father included him in his will. Excited if he can fit in with. So that kind of explains, and so what we can do is on these passageways, oh, flights to Merida, Lima, hear about Ferdinand growing up bullied, being bullied while growing up. And Lima to go find out his love. They love for Catholicism. Jane or he means talk about the girl fine out loves rejected. AK not Spanish. All right. Here, technology. What technology? Have the standard airplanes. That's crucial. Cell phones. Yes. You can even say like indigenous magic tech. That could include relics, how to charge relics, animal counterparts. The neighbor's dog just see if Kita goes crazy. Hold on. Witching hour. Kita. She didn't hear. I thought she was gonna come sprinting up here and start barking, but nothing. So other technology is important. All right. Technology. Data. Technology. Let's say like something about like cell phone GPS, problem coverage in remote location. Works. Let's see. Can you hear me? Oh yeah. For some reason I saw that my mic like didn't move. All right. Yeah, that's better. All right, so let's see here. What other technology tech is involved? Yeah, cars, yeah. Trains. You could even say include drones. drones over Machu Picchu could play a role, especially if we have, so the condor is the Indian condor is going to be a big part of Chaska. Is her ability is talking with, can communicate with animals. And so one thing could be the condor attacking the drones overhead or something like that. And then plus there's also like Abilio. That's not really tech though. I was gonna say they're magical powers. Heroes change or world change. All right, heroes change or world change. Let's see. You know what? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? A little bit more. I'm gonna tweak that later. All right. Let's see here. Heroes change or world change. The heroes. Look again at the side whether they change along. Ow. All right. There's a special area. be. Can you hear me? I am outlining. Yep. No. Next book. One out in June. Start on the seat. What's camp? I had a feel. I had a feeling I was cutting out regularly. How about now? Anyways, thank you. Anyways, no, this is for just for my next book. So I wrote Indigenous Magic Series book 1, and that's coming out June 1st, and then this is for the second one. What's Camp NaNoWriMo? Are you doing it? Nice. Let me look this up. Camp NaNoWriMo. Yeah, I've heard of NaNoWriMo. I think it's November if I'm not mistaken. Camp NaNoWriMo, April and July. Oh, okay. Nice. Well, I'd be hopefully, I mean, if it's April, I'd have some words. I'd have some words to catch up with. I'm outlining for my next book this month. Oh, nice. Oh, so this is the month you're working on the outline. Nice. That's what's up. Let's see. Beginning slavery, backdoor gay. I mean, now that I know that it's a thing, though, I might actually just go ahead and join for the for what month? June, you said? Yeah, that might work out perfectly. 20,000 words for Nano. Oh, that's dope. That'll be, dude. I mean, that's spicy, for real. Beginning, he's in slavery, and then middle, slavery to middle, greater slavery. owes a debt. Hell yeah. High five, buddy. That's awesome. Did you publish, or are you looking for a publisher right now? Is it a book? But so I'm outlining right now with this guy. The Anatomy of Story by John Truby. I have about 10 books written with this outlining process. So just chugging right along. Owes a debt to Fernan. Plotter. Oh yeah, dude, I've heard of that. I've heard of that. I haven't tried it before though. Yeah, it's worked well for me over the years. I've had, like I said, I've had a handful of books written with it, and so it just helps me get like a good structure, and then I can kind of just go and all you do is just write your scenes and then crank out words. It's with Beta Reason. I'm going to do a boot camp in May and June to polish the manuscript for a contest on Wattpad. I've been meaning to look into Wattpad. I haven't had a chance to yet. Dude, that's exciting though. 50,000 in November. Good for you. Were you just working, like, were you putting in a bunch of hours every day? How did that happen? True. I have a bunch on Amazon. I ended up giving the first away, the first in series for free, and then had the other ebooks chilling. 2,000 words a day. 2,000 words a day for every yeah, so you hit every day though. Like you wrote every day. It wasn't like a 3,000 Monday through Friday or anything. Freedom finds Incan relics and wrote every day. That's good. That's the hardest part, I think, is finding time to crank out a little bit every day. But if you, like, that's what NaNoWriMo is good for, though. It's, you know, if you have your one month, you know it's a thing, you know it's gonna happen. It's like, all right, well, let me just, you know, suffer for November, and then that's that. Thanksgiving will probably be the hardest day. Oh, you too. Streaming your writing. It's a pretty fun community so far from what I found. I just started last week hanging out with everyone on the streaming on like Twitch writers, but everyone's been so nice and welcoming and friendly, so it's good. Yeah, normally I'm like I play a lot of video games, so if I'm not writing on here, I'm, you know, playing whatever. But yeah, 100% great community. Thanks for the follow, pros. After helping. So yeah, so I've already had like I've been working on this for a few weeks now. So I already have my characters made. I already have kind of the bones of the story. And so right now, a lot of the book that I'm using for the outline, a lot of it, the plotting goes into um, kind of putting characters as far apart as you can, um, on like different axes. So you find out like you pretty much are just like highlighting and finding all the different places where there might be conflict, and so that way you have these super unique and individualized characters that are just like kind of all over, and then put them into the same room. So it's like, I don't know, you take Lisa Simpson and meet her and hang out with Peter Griffin, right? Like, then you know how you probably can have a sense of what's going to be the problems when they're trying to complete a task, or when they have to go somewhere, or whatever it is. But so that's why I like this book, because it really helps you tease out the problems that might arise between them. All right. Heroes change and world change. How does the world change though? World change to slavery, slaver to greater slavery to freedom. Yeah, they should. I think it's like pretty popular. Let me see who publishes it. Like, I think I got this on Amazon, but I'm pretty sure it's like a TradPub book. Oh, looks like it's some Farrar, Straus, and Giroux, but that's probably just a an imprint. Faber and Faber. Oh, Faber and Faber is an independent publisher, but they're the ones who publish it. They should, but the library should have it. Dang, that was fast. I guess the library's catalog's online. Slavery to greater slavery to freedom. So from indigenous being looked down upon to being taken over by outside forces, which is greater slavery, to freedom when Chaska and Jesus release Incan magic for all Inca. So, oh yeah, definitely. Let's see here. My biggest guy is, it's called Where They Burn Books, They Also Burn People. And so it's about, ironically enough, another indigenous book, but it's about the priest who came over in 1549, and he was, he's really good at learning the Mayan language. And then in 1562, he gathered all the Mayan books together, and he burned them all. except for 4. And the 4 that he didn't burn were just randomly like missing or like hidden. Let's so here. I'll show you the so that's what the cover, that's where they burn books, they also burn people. That's my most recent, or technically it's not my most recent. I have 2 more that just came out. I actually have one that came out 6 days ago, but they're in science fiction, so a little bit different genre. But this is my heavy hitter. Is this guy? Oh, thank you. I even was thinking about getting it tattooed, just because it's so pretty badass. Let's see. The world goes from indigenous being dismissed to being taken over by outside forces. Rage, slavery, freedom, and justice. Yeah, that works. It's like a Day of the Dead skull turned on its head. Yeah, exactly. But there was some jade kind of like face masks that were burned in this massive fire. Oh, there's definitely a pun in there. I noticed it. I was like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. All right. I think that is good for today. Pros, you caught me at the end. I'm actually about to get off here and hop on some video games. So if you want to hang out while I play Destiny or Call of Duty, you are more than welcome. Although even just based on your name, it looks like you're a writer through and through. So rock on. Definitely can dig that. But yeah, so hopefully maybe tomorrow you can. I'll be back here tomorrow at 4, and then we can keep chugging away and talking shop about outlining, and I'd love to hear more about what you do in your books and what you've liked about Wattpad so far. So we can chat. But yeah, all right, everyone. I'll be back. I'll take like 10-minute break, and then I'll be back and probably hopping on some video games. Peace.